It's unbelievable how and why I survived. I have no idea, other than I knew God had spared me 100%.
From straight back, pressure up the middle, hit as he throws, a downfield shot, and coming back, wins a battle, but it's picked off. As Tony...
It was probably around 6:30. Just so happened that night my middle daughter was there talking with my wife, Tanya. Went in and had a seat in the den where I normally went, watched television, and knew the championship Alabama Georgia game was going to be on.
Madison actually had a ball game that night that got canceled. That was the only reason she was home that night. So I think that was God putting it into perspective for me that she was exactly where she needed to be that night. I had been sitting in that room with him for a while and had got up and went to the computer to look for a interpretive movement play for the youth group. And I hadn't been in there probably 10 minutes. Madison was downstairs.
Then it was around 8 o'clock. Throughout most of the night, I was just texting my brother back and forth about the game. And then while in the middle of texting my brother, all of a sudden I just felt an immense amount of pressure and heat, and felt myself wrapped in a fireball, and felt myself kind of tumbling a little bit through the air.
I honestly didn't think it was an explosion. I thought it was an earthquake. When I came out of the room, all the door facings, all the windows were gone.
Everybody said they could hear it for miles, like Homestead area, Crab Orchard area. But I just remember it felt like the whole house just kind of shook. And I was in the bathroom getting everything ready for the next day. And I remember Mom, she just came and she was like, "Madison," she yelled down the stairs. She was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, like what happened?" And she never answered me back. And so I was like, okay, you're a teenager and you're like, okay. So I just remember grabbing my phone, I ran up the stairs, and as soon as I looked to the left, you can see the flames. We had like this little kitchen window that could see into the den, and you could just see the fire.
And I told Madison, I said, "The house is on fire." We walked past the front door and I told her to go outside. She didn't, she followed me.
But I just remember thinking, like, in this moment, if it's gonna take one of us, it's gonna take all of us. Like, I just remember saying, I'm not gonna be parentless.
So, and when I did finally find him, he was standing on a board about this big. There was no more floor left. He was just on that piece of wood.
The floor around me was gone. She just said, "Jump."
When I was reaching for him and grabbed his arms, I knew when I pulled him in that I had pulled all the skin off his arms.
And all of a sudden she started smacking me on the head, and I guess I had a small flame on my head. And really the next thing I really remember was family and friends were coming up, grabbing hold of me, walking me off. I remember vaguely getting into an ambulance. Next thing I know, I woke up in Vanderbilt. Mentally, the stay at the hospital, there was a lot of touch and go. There was probably a few times where, when sepsis started hitting in, they started feeling very scared that if they couldn't get the sepsis under control, I could die. And so I had a doctor who was pretty blunt about what was happening, which I guess is a good thing for them to tell you really what's going on. You didn't sugarcoat it. So kind of more there, a few days into it, I felt, I should have probably died, but maybe God spared me to give me time to say goodbye to people. Maybe I thought that was the only reason. There's no reason I should be alive other than maybe to tell the family goodbye. And that's kind of where I started feeling a little bit of, this probably is the end, but I've been blessed. I've lived a good life. My family was okay. That was the most important thing to me at that time. And then the outpouring support of people coming in and out of Vanderbilt, just telling me, just praying for me, my church family, strangers, people I never met.
It was pretty bad. And I came home one day to work with the insurance company, and before I could make it back to Vanderbilt, they had moved him from a step-down unit back to ICU. So we were in ICU twice. Second time around, they told us, he may be septic. He was very sick. He did started telling us all goodbyes. About 3 days in, I think when they finally figured out he had a broken sternum, he kept telling us he couldn't breathe and he was coughing and he was just in agonizing pain. And so, I mean, it was second, third degree burns, 5 broken ribs, broken sternum. And I mean, even in the aftermath of everything, when he got home, in March, he got really sick. He had another infection from the house fire. And then in 2020, he ended up with an infection behind his sternum from a piece of the debris from the fire. And he was in Methodist Medical for a week, had to have a cardiothoracic surgeon open up his chest. They put a wound vac in. We did IV antibiotics for 6 weeks for that. So it was not just January the 8th, it was for a couple years after that that we dealt with some of those things. We came home with a PICC line. We came home with IV antibiotics that had to be administered every 4 hours. Lots and lots of medicine. I can vividly remember going to the pharmacy and to pick up his first prescriptions when we got back. And there was one specific burn cream that was like $500 and insurance would not cover it. And it just blew my mind. And the lady behind the desk told me, don't worry about it. Somebody's brought money up here already. So somebody had paid for any prescriptions he needed and we had no idea who it was.
I never felt, woe's me, honestly. When I look back on it, it's truly, I never had a doom and gloom. I just really thankful God. I was at peace. I knew He was all under control. I knew He had this. I knew He would provide for whatever I needed going forward, whether it be medical, financially, housing.
People talk about faith being things you can't see. But with our house fire, faith is things that you can see. Just your faith grows so much by just kind of what I touched on, just knowing that you're taken care of and everything. But during the time, like people always say, you got to keep faith. And people have a hard time with that because they'll always say, oh, well, faith is just what you can't see. But for God, faith is both, like what you can see, you have to believe that He's got it, but just watching it all in person there's no other reason that we all made it out that night, but especially Dad, other than just God Himself. And so I always just like to tell the story of just a small little piece of wood, because if he would have been standing anywhere else, just to truly, you believe things in your heart about God, but to truly just see it in person and experience it is a whole different kind of level of faith. Even just getting close to the wedding, it's like I was telling my preacher the other day, I'm just glad that as a girl you think about your dad walking you down the aisle. Yeah. So we were talking about that before you got here, just walking you down the aisle and getting your daddy-daughter dance. I would have never bought that.
In an instant, our whole lives could be totally different than they are today. So I'm thankful. We saved a piece of the roof from the room I was in, and just to be a reminder every day to be thankful for what God's done for us.